guys? It's your girl Meosha Bean. I'm back with another reaction video for you guys. Today I'm reacting to Candace Owens. Celebs can talk politics, but others cannot. With M.I.A. The other girl says, "All I wanna do, boop 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 boop, up and take your money." Anyway, this has been out for a couple weeks now. Actually 3 weeks, and we're gonna react to it. So you guys want me to react to it? Here's my reaction. Let's get into this.
What it is Black Lives Matter, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, it was a psychosis decided upon by the mainstream media narrative. There wasn't a single statistic or data point that could back up the fact that
nobody wanted to have this conversation. That was my point. It's
but like the Sri Lankan thing is more important. It's a real thing, right? And then we say, if you do not get on board with the fake thing, and how dare you bring up a real thing when we have decided already on the fake thing, and we have the entire ecosystem, the mainstream media, we own the celebrities, we own the phones, we own the apps, we've got Apple, we've got Google. How dare you think you have the audacity to stand up to the button that we just pressed? And that's what you did.
Yeah, because the way I saw it is that I was very confused by living in England in 2015, and all I'd seen the 5 years from the minute I left America after the Sri Lankan war ended, and I couldn't talk about it. I was like, okay, I'm leaving, you know? And from this perspective, the way I saw it is that Obama and Hillary Clinton had started the Arab Spring, and this entire campaign was going on in the Middle East. And then we had all of this other stuff and problems, and ISIS was popping up in, Iraq or whatever. And, and they were sort of threatening our comfortable lives in the West as well. And all of these conversations were going on your mainstream media. This is just the news I was getting at the time. And that's where my head was at when I said, oh, an American musician who's huge, like their platform is huge because they toe the line, which is what we're already talking about. When you toe the line, you get to be a billionaire. And I said, when you're towing the line, you can't say hashtag Syrian Life Matters. 100%. You just cannot. And that's why I was cancelled. So then, if you know that I was at the Super Bowl and I gave the middle finger at the Super Bowl and I was sued for $16 million. So I have the right to talk about the Super Bowl because I was affected by the Super Bowl. In my personal life and experience, I'm coming from a personal place, So I was like, yeah, I went on the Super Bowl and I gave a middle finger and I got sued 16 million, And they said, what do you think of Beyonce putting up the black fist, supporting Black Panthers at the Super Bowl? And it was a hit job and I didn't know, but the journalist asked me and I said, well, she can do that as a Black woman, but maybe she won't be able to say Syrian Life Matters,
Pointing out the hypocrisy and the irony.
So I was just saying, yes, that's fine. It's fine because you could be a Black woman in mainstream music and you can say, I am Black, which is fine. But I was like, she also supported openly the Hillary Clinton campaign and the Obama campaign. She would not be able to talk about the war in Syria. But then the counterattack that I got and the way they cancelled me was to say, Black people are Muslims too. So how dare you say that? But that just didn't make sense.
It never makes any sense. It never makes any sense.
I was like, but I know that Black people could be Muslims. That's not the point I was making. I was specifically making a point about if you are a mainstream artist who politically funds the campaign of this candidate who's then engaged in a war over here, would they speak out about it? No.
what you're saying makes perfect sense. And it's interesting that you start this by saying, I probably shouldn't even go there. I just want to say what you're saying makes perfect sense. It's just like what you're saying makes sense because you probably sometimes question your own sanity. Because sometimes I say something and I'm like, did I just say what I said? Because the headlines are now, have I said something else that I have to go back and listen to what I said? And that is the power of the gaslighting machine, is that they start to make you, I don't know if I should even say anything at all, because no matter what, you lose by even opening your mouth.
Of saying, you're not Black, so you can't speak on it, you know, is another thing that has happened since then in a wider, you know, it's been that argument of you're not this, so you can't talk about it. You know, like if you leave race out of it, you're not a woman, so you can't talk about it. You're not a man, you can't talk about it. You know, like that sort of easy to kind of shut down the thing is affected culture in how artists work. You know, like I see the newer generation suffering with this point. You know, a lot of the people that I work with or come across, they always say, oh, but I'm a white male, so I can't touch this subject. You know, they say, well, I'm a Chinese person, so I have to do this, and I'm a da-da-da. And that sort of box building, you know, is really interesting to me.
Just giving people power, and it's crap, because what's interesting is I'm a Black woman, and
so you're
I
a
was
Black
not
woman,
allowed
which is why
to
I wanted
say.
Well, I wanted to bring it up to be like, you know, having been on this side where it's very confusing. Like also my dad's book, when he talks about monetary exploitation, he's not talking about monetary exploitation of Indian people specifically. It's like, no, globalization and the globalist system is everyone, you know, includes everyone. So when you're past a certain point and you see the picture, you cannot define things by race. If one people are oppressed in one place and another person's oppressed in the other place, it's still oppression. And you get to see it like that, you know? And if you identify the oppressor, which is what the whole BLM thing is, you know, we're discussing oppression. And there's valuable conversations to be had between somebody like me and how the Tamil people who were engaged in an armed struggle, you know, and this was my response, is to say if you fast forward some time, where do you go with this? It would be a Black revolution in America. You know, the fast forward, the thinking of this racial conversation, you know, or, you know, in America, it's not a territorial thing and it's not an ethnicity thing, but it is a racial thing. But if you get to the extreme end of this conversation, it's a revolution, it's a struggle, you know, it could be an armed struggle. And my dad already thought that and went there in the 70s and set one up and had the army, you know. And then within the Tamils, we had 4 fractions. So we had 4 different leaders with their 4 different groups, and then they were interfighting. So you can have a Candace Owens, you know, the leader of Black conservatives, or you can have the leader of BLM, whoever the leader is, or Beyonce, the leader of Black people. And they both say, okay, we need armed resistance, and that's what it's about. Then I can tell you how it ends. You know, it was a debate that was worth having, but nobody wanted the debate. This cancel culture thing where they made me out to be the racist person was not, I felt, you know, I was like, who's at the bottom of it? You know, there's so many different people this could be. So that made me look into it even more, you know, and I was like, well, you have this elite class, you have Black elites, and then you have poor Black people in America who are controlled by the same mass media narrative as everybody else, white people and the Hispanics. And, they're all in it together. Like right now, it's confusing because the vice president is Tamil. She's Tamil and Black. So that's another thing. But we're not allowed to talk to each other because I'm a Tamil and you're Black. And you have to be in your experience and your narratives, and I have to be in my experience and my narrative, but we cannot have conversations.
Crazy, man. Crazy. And everything that she said, and down to it, Candace, everything they said is true. It's exactly what it is. They're right about certain celebrities. If you noticed, if when you hit a certain bracket of pay or number, you're not as vocal about topics. You can't, because that money that you're getting is not yours. You know what I mean? It's yours, but it comes with a price. You know what I mean? Like, the price is, well, like she said, I can't speak about X, Y, and Z topics, but I can say that I'm a Black woman, but I cannot talk about hashtag this. It's true. It's absolutely true, because I think people are scared because of getting things taken away, or getting shunned, getting quieted. And I like what she said. This was actually really, really interesting. I love to see this whole full interview, honestly. But I think what she's saying is true. It's very much real. The culture that we're living in now, the cancel culture of, you can't say certain things, or you're done. You're completely done. And who wants that, right? Who wants their position to be taken from them? Nobody does. It's like something like, whatever it is that you love to do in life, and you get to a certain point in your life and you have it and you're secure, but then you say one thing that the media or the masses doesn't like, and it's gone in an instant. All that hard work that you put out to keep that status, it's just taken away. And that is a fear, and it shouldn't be this way. And it's like the same thing what Dave Chappelle said on the SNL. It's like, we should not be afraid to speak, because if we're so free, why are we afraid? Because the truth of the matter is that we are not. And she's right. Whether you're Black elites, whether you're poor Black Americans, whether you're rich white elites, whether you're rich non you're white and you're poor white, and you're Mexican elite, or whatever, Chinese elite, it's all under the same umbrella. She's absolutely right about that. I mean, that's just real. We're all affected by it. Yeah, it's just what it is. As long as we have government and these powers in place, what it is always going to be that way. It's not changing. It's like what George Carlin said. Politics. It's all. We're trying to figure out who's at the bottom of this and who's at this agenda. Like, who controls this and who controls that. We'll never know, because we'll never we don't know how far this cookie crumble go, like the breadcrumbs go. Like, it's like Alice in the Wonderland. She just goes deeper and deeper into her psychosis, and she's gets mad and madder into her world of the Wonderland. It's just like, you think you're getting closer to something, and it's like, no, you're actually deeper into this world of, like, how did we get here? You know what I mean? I digress. Anyway, I really loved it. I loved the interview. That was great. Thank you guys for suggesting that. It was really interesting to hear both sides of that. Yeah, what do you guys think below? Let me know what you think in the comments section below. But I feel like this was actually a really interesting conversation, and very like, yeah, definitely an eye opener in a lot of ways. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for checking out my channel. Hit the notification bell for all new videos that are coming on this channel, all new discussions that we'll be having. Also, I have a podcast. Follow the podcast below. Also, Patreon. I have different videos that are not coming up here, because I really feel like, because I have to censor so much, YouTube it's a little iffy with some videos. So the ones I don't post on here, I will have on Patreon, and I'll have a lot more content on there starting the very top of the next year in January 2023. Yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and see you guys next time. Live, love, laugh. Peace.